every author has a point of view, but an author is demonstrating a bias when they ignore reasonable counter-arguments or distort opposing viewpoints. And so this bias is evident whenever the author is unfair or inaccurate in his presentation. And so that pretty much sums up what a bias is. It's when the author is unfair or inaccurate. So, like I said a minute ago, every author is going to have a point of view, but sometimes an author takes that point of view too far and undermines an opposing argument or is inaccurate in portraying the other argument. And so when that happens, the author is demonstrating a bias. Now, an author may use a bias intentionally or unintentionally, but either way, it should always alert the reader to be skeptical of the argument being made. So that's an important point to make, and an important thing to remember, that an author may promote a bias intentionally or unintentionally. But in the end, it doesn't really matter, because either way, the author is using a bias, and that's something that needs to be corrected. Now, it should be noted that a biased author may still be correct. However, the author will be correct in spite of his or her bias, not because of it. So that's another important thing to remember, that an author may still be correct even if they do have a bias. However, the fact that the author is correct does not justify the use of that bias. Now, many people are familiar with some of the hateful stereotypes of certain ethnic, religious, or cultural groups. And so you're probably familiar with what the idea of a stereotype is, because it's like a bias, except that it is specifically applied to a group or place. And so stereotypes are considered particularly distasteful because they promote negative generalizations. And anytime an author uses a stereotype, it reveals ignorance on their part and a lack of curiosity. So readers should be very suspicious of authors who stereotype. And so again, it reveals ignorance or lack of curiosity. And so again, a stereotype is like a bias, except that it is specifically applied to a group or place. So basically, an author maybe looks at a group of people and sees something that they perceive to most of the time be true or is often true, and they make a generalization and apply it to the whole group. And generally, it's going to be something negative, and so generally it's something that's hateful towards that group. And it indicates their lack of curiosity. And you want a writer to have curiosity so that they are exploring all sides of an argument. And then again, a bias is when an author ignores reasonable counter-arguments or distorts opposing viewpoints. And because of that, the author ends up being unfair or inaccurate.
If you need a study guide, click the book at the bottom of the page. If you want more free test videos, subscribe to us on YouTube. If you just want to keep watching, click the next video.